I'm Cal Clark at Clark's Corvair Parts. In 1983 we started making award-winning Corvair interiors, and in 1992 I was looking for an interior for my 64 Riviera and found that nobody was making them. So in 1992 we started making the 1963 to 1965 Buick Riviera interiors. We have a free 26-page catalog that you can request, or you can see it online at www.corvair.com. Look on the right-hand side of our home page. The whole catalog is online with current prices. Today's tour will show you how we go about producing your Riviera interior, and we're going to start with some of the materials. Behind me you see rolls of original specification vinyl. And we have to purchase this in between 500 and 2,000 yards per color per grain. Because we do make them to the original GM specs, we go with just the best companies that we can, and those companies are the Canadian and US manufacturers. This chart shows all our original colors of vinyls, also the fabrics, and the headliners that we have. At any one given time, we almost always have 98% of the vinyls and leathers in stock. However, the fabrics are due to availability, so it's a good idea to check ahead. Don't wait till the last minute if you want to get a fabric interior. These are a couple of our leather hides. They vary in size from 40 to 55 square foot per hide. Leather is always sold per square foot, which is part of the reason for the cost. Now, it's considered normal for there to be some defects in leather, but we go out of our way to ensure that we have the fewest possible defects in your leather interior. If there are any defects, they won't be right where you'll see them. When we purchase the leather, we send them samples of the vinyl that will be used with them so they can match the color exactly. We try to make our interiors just as exact to the originals as possible. So when we start an interior, we take original pieces, we take them completely apart, we make accurate diagrams as to exactly how they should go back together, where the listing should be, the type of stitching, everything possible. And we have books that show us so that if we don't make it for a few months, we'll remember exactly how it's done. For each set of upholstery, we would make the patterns, we would then make the upholstery set and try it on the original frame. Once that was acceptable, most of the pieces end up getting made in steel rule dies. The reason for this is that the steel rule die allows us to quickly cut the pieces, but we also know that every single time the pieces will be exactly the same. I'm going to show you how the steel rule die actually works. This is a very simple piece, but as you can see, it immediately cuts it out. Saves a lot of time and gives us the exact same piece every time. This would be an example of the pieces necessary to make the bottom of a 1965 custom set. You can see that the steel rule die even allows us to put the special slits that are necessary to form the pleats. Pearl's putting the final pieces on the bottom of that 65 bucket seat that we just were looking at. All the listings and everything would be exactly the same as the old original that you take off. And there's the finished bucket seat bottom. We even sew in the carpet. We always send you samples, request that you approve the samples of the carpets, and some of those don't match the originals exactly. But samples of anything are always free. So let's look at the different years that we produce. This is a 1963 bucket top done out of the saddle vinyl. And this is the back side. You'll see the back side's just like the original. Has the fine lines in it and also has the heat sealed pleats. This is the underneath of the 1963 bucket bottom. And this is the top of it. This is a 1964. We aim to get the depth of the pleats the same as the original. And the back side, again similar to the 1963 in that it has the correct lines in it. And also the bottom. Now the 1965 standard is basically the same as the 64, except when you go to the back of it, it has the pleats, but they did not put the lines in it. It's also done out of a different grain of material, and the colors are usually different. Before we saw Pearl sewing the bottom of a 65 custom seat. The 65 customs are by far the hardest interior that we make, especially up at the top where it has the multi-pleats in it. On the back side, you'll also notice that it has heat-sealed lines, but they go in a different direction. We're going to show you how we put those heat-sealed lines in with the dielectric embosser. This is the back of the 1965 standard interior. You'll notice those lines in it. And this is the tooling that allows us to put that in. It's brass rule attached to an aluminum jig plate. This goes on a table. We put the vinyl on it with the vinyl face against the steel rule dies. And it goes into this dielectric embosser. It's a fairly large custom-made machine for us. And basically it generates microwaves like a microwave oven. As this goes under, we can control the amount of pressure coming down. The energy will go for anywhere from 2 to 6 seconds usually. That creates enough heat going back and forth against the brass rule that it heats up the vinyl. The pressure against the vinyl makes the vinyl take the set of these bars. There's a 3 or 4 second cool down cycle. The machine opens up, we pull it out, and there's our embossed piece of vinyl. Another big seller is the 1963 to 65 package tray. These come out looking beautiful. We also produce the cardboard pieces for the trunk area. Or how about an original style tire cover? We make them in both the half size, full size, and we even make them out of carpet material. We also have the original material for the trunks. We sell molded carpets for the 1963 to 65 Riviera, and we do cut and sew carpets with over 20 different colors to choose from. So whether you need an interior for your 63 to 65 Riviera, or a carpet, headliner, door weather strips, rubber bumpers, you can depend on a quality product from Clark's Corvair Parts Incorporated. Corvair.com